Hello. Hey, we were just asked a couple times about mixes and how to make mixes. I looked up, there was a lot of information, but we have never dedicated a small recording to that. So that's what we hope to accomplish today. So as you look here, I've got a diet open and I'm in my startup screen. So I'm just going to go to this existing diet. It's a demonstration diet that we put together. We can look around at some of the parameters, about a 16:1 crude protein. What I might do is and I might just swap this out with some bypass soy and just come up with some of the numbers that I want to look at. And let me just do a soy plus. And all right, I'm okay with the numbers that we have here in this diet. Let me just go 3.2 and 2.5. And so we've got a diet here with a basically 85-pound cow with a 3.8 and a 3.1, smaller version of a cow than I'm used to seeing, but body weight's there, no condition change. We can make her 150 days in milk. That ain't going to change much. Here we are on milk that we're producing right here. Here's the analysis. Here's the feeds. For this demonstration, what we want to do is keep things pretty simple. What we're really trying to look at how to make mixes. And so you can see I've undone a mix, but what I want to do right now is I can create a mix here using this screen. I can use a check all button, which will take all the concentrates in there, or I can hand check these that would be in my mix quote that would come like from a feed mill. All right, and let me just do this, and I'm gonna put the soy plus in here. So I'm gonna feed my own roasted beans, my old corn grain, and my crop new baleage and corn silage. So I might do that. I might call that mix. We called the dairy Help Me Dairy. So Help Me is going to get a custom mix, and it's going to come from the dairy from feed mill somewhere, and I would put the date on it being 10/06. And then this will become a composite. I guess you could partition that in a premix, but I'm just going to leave it in a composite. So this is the dairy name custom. You put custom lactation mix or whatever you want, and I'm going to create the mix. So now I have this in the mix, and that is my new mix. Once I save that here, that will be available in any diet if I go in. So let's just do a quick save as, and we're going to put this as 2023, just to keep everything straight. We'll do this and save this. Now this mix will be saved in my computer as one of the composites, and I could actually pull it up and use it in another herd if I wanted. But for today's discussion, what we've seen people doing is they want to see what this looks like. So they'll go in here and type in 2,000 pounds because they want to see what it's going to look like. What it's going to look like on a ton basis. And this causes some problems. People said, hey, now I see it doesn't calculate through here. So if I went from 17 to 170 pounds, or yeah, we're not getting much calculation going on here changing because this small warning sign pops up here, and it says the current dry matter intake appears to be out of the acceptable physiological range of the animal. NDS is basically looking at making a mix for an animal. So let me just change this back to 17 and then come back here, and I can right mouse click and restore the starting amount, and it pops in the 8 point. And here we are. Freeze up a little bit here. Come on. Okay, and here's my original amounts back here. So again, I'm back to 50 pounds, no warning signs. And if I make some changes in here, you'll notice that over here, it starts making the changes again. Because I have no warning sign here, it's within the physiological limits of this diet. So just showing you that, because what you really want to see is you want to see when you expand the mix here, I can go ahead and type in the 2,000 pounds here, and then I can see what my mix looks like here. And so I had it in the ration in this order, but what I can do is I can go here, right mouse click, and choose to show this in descending order. Now I have a descending order. If you look here, I have 2,000 pounds, and then I have this little box click that says keep the batch unchanged, which means it's going to stay in here at 2,000 pounds. So what I can do, I had my mineral tab opened here, and he put a little function in here, the programmers did, where you can actually move this. When you click this, grab onto the white bar and move this up. Now really what I want to look at is what my crude protein and my minerals are going to do when I want to utilize the function of hand rounding. So I'm not going to ask the mill to do a RUM&N add of 0.74. I could, and they could do that. Or I could leave this as my floating ingredient. And maybe what I want to do is change another one, but I'll leave it at the soy plus. Let's put it at the soy meal for our example. Now, when I go ahead and change this from 0.74 to maybe just 1 pound, and you can watch your monensin level here. When I go to 1 pound, I'm going to go from 273 to 369 if I'm okay with that, or I can go back here and put 0.75, and then I'm at 277, and my rounding has been in the soybean meal area. Again, salt, I can look at my sodium and my chloride down here. I'm okay if they add 25 instead of the 24.7. MFP, I do the same. You have this functionality if you want to do this. Okay, this is a hand rounding. We decided never to do auto rounding because you could have some issues here. All right. So what we're looking at is right now this is green boxed, and that has to do with the RUM&N amount, which is green because I'm within limits. So let's go in here. If I made a mistake and I punched in 75, then I turn into problem area. And I'm sitting in here at 27,725 milligrams a day, and it's trying to show me that, wow, I'm way out of bounds. Okay? So that's what that green box is pertaining to the RUM&N levels down here. So again, if I go down here and I can change that to 0.75. Okay, all of that shown just to show you guys. Once you do this, now I can take this to the printer function. And from here, we had some issues with somebody not having this weigh in and progressive. But if you go to the composite and click properties here, then what you really want to do is make sure you're weigh in and progressive. Weigh in is how much of each ingredient is there. 0.75 of RUM&N, 25 pounds of salt, 25 pounds of MFP. Going the other way on the progressive would be, this would be the first ingredient I add, this would be next, going from greatest to least. And again, you can decide that from the other function we just did. So again, what I'm choosing to show, I'm not going to show the ID codes. If I was working with a feed mill that works with ID codes, maybe you have to show this. Ingredient name, as fed, dry matter pounds, percent as fed, weigh-in, and progressive. That's what I'm showing. This proportionate table stretches it across the screen. And then again, you can decide what font size you want. I decided I wanted the biggest. I wanted it in the center, and I want it bold so you can see everything, okay? And that's why this report looks like this. The merge table is if your report drips over into a page break and half of it shows up on one page and half of it shows up on the other. The merge table will only allow that table to be on one page or the other. So again, I'm going to apply changes here. Now there's some other things you can do within this report. You can do feed tag, which is our customized feed tag. You can customize that in utilities. The one I am showing is the default for state of Wisconsin, but you can customize that all you want. You could also do a summary analysis, or the neat thing is inside of the full analysis, you can go into the user report and decide and make your own. So analysis for report, you can actually go in here and make some analysis that you want that will appear as a full analysis user report so that you have that ability. You can see I've got all these parameters and I'm going to choose the feed mill short. Again, you can change these around. The feed mill short is this amount of information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include that on my report, but I hate things to be on one page or two page. So what I could do is move that over here and it fits on one page so somebody could follow that real easy. Again, somebody had a question about the weigh-in progressive here and the percentages. Again, that's in that composite into properties. Okay. If I want to, there's another neat feature here that you can set this up with bold, big type, red, red in the middle. And then what I like to do is say, hey Joe, this is a new mix for so-and-so dairy. Starting, this is 2023, 1006, do another space. This border red, however you want to do it, just to draw attention. Let's go back up here. There we go, green and red. And then once you type that in, you have it set up, and then it becomes the big letter up here on the top of your deal. I'm not going to choose to show full analysis and feed tag. So now I've got my one-page report, that I can email. And if you actually use the utility function, create a PDF, this will automatically be saved in your external file structure. You don't have to go around and change that around. All I got to do is save it, and that report's there. I can email it later. Here's my PDF viewer from there. So again, back to NDS, looking at those functions in there. Again, there's some features here. This will unmix that mix. So this unmixes it back in to that mix with all those feeds within there, okay? So then if I want, I'm not going to make any changes. The create mix is where I made it. Right here is a remix button. And if you click on that, it will allow me to remix that mix with no changes. Now, if you do make some changes, you want to create a new version, make sure you rename it and create a new version, right? For, next month, you're going to make some changes. You can open that up, make your changes, create a new mix and redate it. But for right now, I'm just going to remix it. one more function I want to look at. So I can click on, let's open this up real quick here. I do have almost all the prices. Palm fat was $1,400. And potassium chloride is 450. I throwing in a number. So now when I click off of that, here is the price of that mix. But if I right mouse click on that, you can see that is the calculated mix amount. The selling price is going to be $600 a ton for trucking and everything. And I'm going to get that cost into the recipe here, or I can just click it 600 right here. And that becomes the selling price then. So now I have a mixing price and a selling price. All right, different color. If you look at this, those are green, this one's red, telling you that's a different number. Now, one more step. I don't want to make this too long, but now I can make a mix within a mix. So now I want to create a mix. Here, let's just go here. I'm going to create a mix. So this is the Help Me custom mix that I get from the feed mill. I'm going to create a mix, and I'm going to put my corn, my homegrown beans in here, and then my custom Help Me mix right here. And I'm going to call that, Help Me Dairy Farm Mix. And of course, that's 2023 10/06. And so now I have a farm mix, which I could list as a premix. I've dumped them all into composites. Never changed that, but I probably should. But now it's going to make a mix of these three at 17.66 pounds. So now I have a mix within a mix. Again, it's green because it likes my RUM&N level. And you can use that function or not. That's in additive dosages. I went ahead and I put 180 to 450. I made sure the grams per ton was not active anywhere, but I did put that 180 to 400 in there. You can do that if you want, but that's getting out of the realm of what we're talking about. So now I'm going to save. I'm going to just do a save on this diet because now I've done all my heavy work. I would probably match, find out a little more details, but I'm happy with the diet and the way it's, send it out to somebody this way. But now what I can do is I can unmix this by using this mix. Again, we went to the printer screen. If I look at the magnifying glass, it kind of tells me what that mix looks like. If I go over here, I can actually see what that feed tag analysis would look like. Looks like I used a blank for some of the minerals on that MinVit because I have no A, D, and E and selenium in there. So again, I just used a blank from the Cornell library. So you can use those things. Again, if I put in, that he's going to mix 10,000 pounds at the farm, then I can send him this print off to mix his 10,000 pound farm mix. But what I really want to do is unmix that because I want to look at the diet. Oh, did I give it a headache? So let me just plus that again. Unmix this. Now here's my amounts. And then when I unmix this, and I really want to go to town and look, now if I look, I have two different colors, right? This was my farm mix, and then this was my mix from within the feed mill, the custom mix. And when I go to remix that, then I can say the Help Me custom mix is within the farm mix. And that's a little note that I probably need to say, hey, I need to mix the custom mix first. Yes. And then I can go back and remix the farm mix and remix it. Again, if I was making changes in that, I would create a new version, create a new date. But for this demo, I'm just doing that. So again, that's just hopefully a brief, short look at how we do mixes, how we print mixes, the proper use of the batch area and what you can do here. And so again, you know, in our scenario, we have lots of options, a lot of stuff to do as we can play with this thing and work with it. So hopefully, you know, we were able to make some reviews and look at some stuff and help you to understand functionality on NDS a little better. So with all that, I'm going to bid you farewell and happy computing.